Well, good morning, Vietnam. Actually, we're in French Quebec, Canada, a little far from Vietnam. And what we're talking about today is mileage. What I've done today is spend some morning time here. I've got the morning because I don't think I'm getting a load today. It's Saturday, and we didn't get anything on Friday, and the morning's passing through here. It's almost 11, so I don't think we're getting a load today, but we got till probably 3 or 4 to finalize that deal. So maybe, we're hoping. Anyways, it's about mileage today. I've gone about 2 months in this job, and I've racked up some pretty serious mileage on the van. I was looking today at the odometer, and it says it's reading today at 2,026,997. So just about 27,000 miles I've driven on this van. However, when I picked up the van, it was brand new and had its first 245 miles on it. So subtracting 245 from 26,997, we get a total of 26,752 miles put on by me. I would say that some oil change, 2 oil changes, maybe it's been 3, so that was probably maybe a total of 3 or 4 miles not driven by me. Otherwise, all those miles are miles I've driven on this van and paid for gas. So, what have I made on those miles? How many miles do I drive that don't get paid? I think you're going to be amazed. And what kind of miles did I get paid? And about how much does it turn out to about be? So, what we found is that through our last paychecks, including this last paycheck, I totaled up what I've gotten paid for in miles. And that was 1,500. Oh, I'm sorry. That was wrong. 15,845 miles. So that's pretty good. I've been paid for 15,000 miles. However, when you're thinking, wait a minute, didn't you say you got 26,000 miles on that machine? So that works out to roughly be 10,907 miles that I've driven this van and paid for gas without being compensated for. So how much is that? And how do you think I accrued all that mileage? Well, those miles are accrued in this way. And there's 2 things that aren't accounted for that also waste gas that I'll talk about later. But firstly, that is the amount mostly accrued from when you're dispatched. When you're in a city, they tried to find you a load in a timely manner, so that means that you may have to drive to a nearby city to get the load and go. If it's an excessive amount, they'll throw you a bone. It looks like I've seen where they've made a mistake. It was an extra 100 miles, and they threw me the extra 100 miles. But for the most part, you're expected to drive I think it's called deadheading, and they'll just pretty much expect that you're willing to go 100 miles, 150 miles out of your way, which in the end of the day is about a half tank of gas. In American fuel, USA fuel prices, that's about less than $25, something like that, or around $25-$30. So you're spending $30, so you can make, usually that's like you're going to be getting a $250 run or $260-$70 run, let's say. So you're spending some to make some. You're getting $200 for about a day's worth of work, and that's a little bit more than, say, what you would get at a day of work, making your $16 an hour, getting taxes deducted at some job slaving away in your hometown, when you do get to go home every night, but you're all worn out and can't do anything anyways. So anyways, that's how that works out. Working at home was usually around $100 a day, so there's somewhat of an okay, there. So, those deadhead miles add up. Then there's the miles that basically once you drop off from the shipper, you're going to run around town. You might, drive 6-7 miles to find a Planet Fitness. And then, if you stay there an extra day, you might drive around to a restaurant, drive around to the library, drive to go see a site somewhere. And then you might get sick of, if you stay more than more than a few days, you might get sick of staying in one spot. You might travel to a different area. You might travel to a truck stop. So there's a lot of little in between traveling that adds up apparently pretty quick. So we're talking, 5,000. Let's see, like, it's been about, well, there's beginning of, we've done all of October, all of November, so that's about 60 days of running. 60 days, that's about, by 6,000 miles, it's about 1,000 miles a week, right? No, that's about 500 miles a week. It's 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, about 5,000. Okay. Yes, it's about 500 miles a week, so that's about 100 miles a day, which seems a little bit more than it should be, but somehow that's how that's rolled out. Okay, so that being said, yeah, I'm gonna actually have to do that math, because that's one thing I didn't figure out. How much is that per day? And that doesn't make much sense to me. But anyways, that's not. It's gonna drag on the video, me rambling on about that. So let's get to what I did figure out here on paper. We've got, like I said, 15,000 miles that we were paid for. So 10,907 by me. So what was and I, in those 15,845 miles, I earned $5,797.50. So not too bad. I haven't done that math per the mileage. I believe it's about 35 cents a mile is what that is, roughly speaking. Maybe 34. So the 10,907 miles, let's divide that by the 14.6 miles per gallon that this thing averages, and that equals 747 gallons of fuel paid for by me just to have this job. Now that $745 or 745 gallons, we have to multiply that by the price of gas, and the price of gas is always different. From the southern United States, I've paid as low as $2.10 a gallon. However, that I wasn't there very long. I haven't been there too many times, so the majority of my gas is in the middle of the United States, which is running about anywhere from $230 to $260, or I'm sorry, $2.30 to $2.60 a gallon. Whereas as soon as I get into Canada, which is also not the majority of my miles, it's been a probably a little less than half, probably about a third. It is at least $4.10 a gallon here. That's $1.10 on average a liter. There's 3.78 liters in a gallon. So if you do the math, it's working about $4.10 a gallon. So what we have there then, therefore, at using roughly 3.1 as our price per gallon, $3.10 is our average price per gallon through the duration there. That comes out to be $2,315 roughly that I've spent in my own gas money. This does not account for the time that I idle the van. Like today, just making this video, I actually shut it off right now, but I've been idling here in front of a McDonald's. It was only so long I could sit in a McDonald's on an 18-degree day. So I'm back out here in the van, idling it on and off. I could probably go in the back and in the dungeon and sit in the heater. And there's the heater. The heater is a diesel heater, so I'm buying fuel for the heater. I haven't counted the price that its cost to fill up a tank of that is probably around $2 and something cents. And at $2 and something cents a fill up, it's usually on a really cold night, it'll need 2 tankfuls to run, from evening to midnight and midnight to the morning to stay with a little bit of gas left over, run the whole time you sleep. You're talking about $5. And I've done that probably around 30 of the 60 days that I've been working, maybe 25 days. So think $5 times 25, that's about 125 to about 100, anywhere from 125 to $150 in diesel fuel. So like any other thing, you pay money to make money, right? Costs money to make money. And so it's not, it's not the massive amount of dollars per mile that you think it is. You have to factor in the fact that you're not going to be paid for every mile that you drive in the van that you run, and you're only going to be paid a percentage if you work for someone else and they give you a good deal, 60-40 split. You got to look for a good deal. My deal, I've seen some worse deals where people wanted the driver to pay for more. I don't have to pay for tolls. I basically only have to pay for gas. It's the only thing out of my pocket, which is a reasonable deal. And with the exception of I get more loads than a lot of places that just run in the United States. However, running into Canada is a lot more expensive. And then there's the idling at the border too, just sitting at the border wasting gas. So I didn't account for that too. The idling fuel, waiting at the border, waiting at stoplights, waiting in traffic that comes to a standstill, and having to pass slow drivers where you waste gas doing that. So there you go. There's some numbers for you to think about. You probably for every 25,000 miles you're driving, you're probably actually running paid for 15 of those, and about 1,000 of those are unpaid. So just a little bit more than half of your miles you're actually paid for on a van expediting gig. Think about that. I'll leave it for you to think about these numbers and put the math on paper. Like I said, it runs to be about anywhere from 31 to 36 cents a mile, depending on final figures, certain numbers, and going from there. So we'll go from there. I'll see you soon, and we'll go over some other aspect of this job in the next video. I hope you subscribe, and leave me, of course, as I always say, some comments, so some feedback, so I know what you like or don't like about these videos, and what I could talk about next, or what you need to know. Thank you. Hope you enjoy out there if you decide to try this job. See you soon.